Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. The centre has issued an order to recall West Bengal's top bureaucrat from the state on a day a controversy broke out over a meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Bengal Chief Secretary's tenure was extended for 3 months only 4 days ago. The centre has asked the officer to report to Delhi on the 31st of May. Now, the Trinamool Congress has now reacted. Sukhendu Shekhar Roy, the MP of the Rajya Sabha from the TMC, has responded saying that has this ever happened since independence? Forced central deputation of a chief secretary of state. All right, let's go across to Arvind Gunasekar to understand more on this story. Arvind, what's the protocol or convention here? The state government will have to relieve him, isn't it?
Yeah, Rohit, as a clear indication of the fallout of today's events was the Chief Minister of West Bengal reportedly boycotted the review meeting chaired by the Prime Minister on the cyclone in the state of West Bengal. What we are seeing is that the central government has recalled the Chief Secretary of the West Bengal government, the DOPT, which is the cadre controlling authority of the IAS officers, invoking Section 6(1) of the IAS cadre rules, has issued an order directing the West Bengal Chief Secretary Alapan Bandyopadhyay to report to the DOPT on May 31st at 10 a.m. So this is a forced central deputation order that has been issued by the Department of Personnel and Training, which is the cadre controlling authority. Though the central government has issued an order, we have to wait for the response of the state government, because as of this moment, he is under the cadre of the state government. So only if the state government relieves him, he can come and take charge in the central government. But if the state government does not relieve him, then there is no question of him coming and taking charge, coming and reporting to the central government on May 31st. Though the Section 6(1) of the IAS cadre rule says that if there is a disagreement between the central and state government on the deputation of an IAS or an IPS officer, the decision of the central government is final. So that particular rule says that if there is a disagreement. But what we are seeing, what we are being told is that there is still a lacuna even here. If the state government delays taking a decision, and if delays, and if it continues to refusing to relieve him from the state cadre, then there is no question of the disagreement, and there is no question of this particular provision kicking in. So we have to wait and watch for the response of the state government. But what we are seeing is that this is not the first time the centre has invoked such a rule, for ordering a forced central deputation of an officer in the West Bengal cadre. Earlier in on December 12th, we did see a similar kind of order from the Minister of Home Affairs, directing 3 IPS officers to report to the central government. But this time what we are seeing is a DOPT, which comes under PMO, directing the Chief Secretary of a state, recalling him and asking him to report to the central government. So again, we are waiting for the response of the West Bengal government. Another very important point, just 4 days back, the central government had given a 3-month extension in service to the West Bengal Chief Secretary, who was supposed to retire on May 31st. But before that, today the central government has issued an order recalling him.
All right, Arvind Gunasekar, we leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. The Prime Minister announced a 1,000 crore rupee relief package for Odisha, and West Bengal and Jharkhand. 500 crore rupees will go to Odisha. Bengal and Jharkhand will have to split the remaining 500 crores. This is sure to upset Mamata Banerjee, who estimated the preliminary damage in Bengal at least 2,000 crores. But the face-off was kicked off at Kalaikunda Air Force Base, where the Prime Minister held a review of Cyclone Yas impact in Bengal.
और मेरा आग्रह है,
Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee was reportedly furious for being made to wait to meet the Prime Minister despite an appointment. Her office had sought and been granted time by PMO. Her office had also explained she had to hold a meeting in Digha, so she could not attend the Prime Minister's review meet. Yet she was apparently asked to wait to meet Mr. Modi. Ms. Banerjee gave no indication of any rough edges in her meeting with him.
কলাইকুণ্ডায় গিয়েছিলাম এবং কলাইকুণ্ডায় গিয়ে প্রধানমন্ত্রীর হাতে আমাদের যা ক্ষয়ক্ষতি হয়েছে তার একটা রিপোর্ট আমার সাথে চিফ সেক্রেটারি আলাপন বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় ছিল, আমরা হাতে তুলে দিয়ে বলেছি এইটা হচ্ছে আমাদের রিপোর্ট এবং আপনি যা ভালো বুঝবেন তাই করবেন। আমি আপনার পারমিশন নিয়ে বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছি।
But the governor, who was present, signaled trouble. He tweeted saying no official present in review meet and no meeting between PM and CM. much less a one-to-one. Such confrontation has no place in democracy. Sources say no one from the Bengal government was present to even receive the Prime Minister. And when she did come in to give Mr. Modi the state's report, Ms. Banerjee's behavior was unbecoming.
আমি রাজ্যের 2,27,00,000 মানুষ ভোট দেওয়া ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টির বিরোধী দলের নেতা। প্রধানমন্ত্রী এখানে বলেছিলেন দেখা করে জানাতে, আমি জানিয়েছি। আমার কাজ আমি করেছি। মুখ্যমন্ত্রী তার আমার চোখে যেটুকু দেখা একটা জ্ঞাপন দিয়ে তিনি বিভিন্ন জেলায় ঘুরছেন, দক্ষিণ 24 পরগনা গেছিলেন, আবার যেতে হবে তা বলে তিনি জ্ঞাপন দিয়ে।
It was the presence of Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari at the meet that may have irked Ms. Banerjee. Her former minister, who joined BJP, defeated her at Nandigram and is now leader of opposition. This was also the first time Mamata Banerjee and Mr. Modi came face to face after the Bengal elections. Now that Bengal is getting much less money as relief than Mamata Banerjee's estimates, a new flashpoint between Delhi and Kolkata. Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
और लंबे अरसे तक जागरूकता से प्रयास करना है।
The Calcutta High Court on Friday granted interim bail to all the 4 Bengal politicians, including 2 ministers from Trinamool Congress arrested by the CBI in connection with the Narda bribery case.
Dramatic arrests, immediate bail, a stay on bail, then house arrest. 10 days after this drama began, these 4 political heavyweights finally out on interim bail. Mamata Banerjee's ministers, Firhad Hakim and Shubroto Mukherjee, her senior MLA, Madan Mitra, and Shobhan Chatterjee, who quit Trinamool, joined BJP and quit BJP again.
The court has accepted our plea and granted interim bail on the condition that 2 lakh rupees of bail bond to meet with the investigating officer as and when required, but through virtual mode because of seeing the pandemic situation. And thirdly, and the most importantly, to not to give any comments or press statements as far as this sub judice matter is concerned.
The Narda bribery case is a political powder keg. But now the Narda case is kicking up a storm in the judiciary as well. We have been reduced to a mockery, a sitting judge of Calcutta High Court has said. Justice Arindam Sinha wrote to fellow judges on 24th May objecting to the court's handling of the case, to the way CBI's plea for transfer of case was treated as a PIL, to a division bench hearing the plea instead of a single judge. In its petition, the CBI had cited a list of events on 17th May, the day of arrests. The CBI said it wanted the case transferred for fear of the mob. The court has questioned that. Can a mob influence a court's decision or CBI's actions? The issue is now being hotly debated in judicial circles. With Arvind Gunasekar and A. Vaidyanathan, in Kolkata, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
The other big story, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chaired the 43rd GST Council meeting on Friday through video conferencing, even though one of the main agendas of the meeting was to deliberate on GST tax on COVID-related essentials. However, no consensus was reached on the reduction of tax rates over vaccines. The decision over tax rates on COVID vaccines was referred to a group of ministers, which will be announced by the 8th of June. That's what the finance minister said. The other takeaway was that the duty on the import of the medicine amphotericin B that's used to cure black fungus is exempted.
I have decided and announced in the council to have a group of ministers quickly formed who will submit their report within 10 days, which is 8th of June, on or before 8th June, so that if there are any further reductions which need to be done, will be done. In the sense, the rates will be decided by them.
Now, after battling a brutal second wave for weeks, fresh COVID cases came down below the 2 lakh mark. India recorded 1,86,364 new cases in the last 24 hours. This is the lowest daily COVID count since the 14th of April. Now, the daily toll, however, remained over 3,000 with 3,660 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. However, daily deaths have fallen below the 4,000 mark for the first time in 11 days. Now, 29,19,699 people have been administered vaccines in the last 24 hours. That's the highest number of vaccines administered per day since the 26th of April. But is that enough? Remember, the government has said that, in fact, Dr. V.K. Paul, who heads the National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19 himself on Thursday said that India needs to prepare to vaccinate around 1 crore people per day. On Friday, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi warned that India will be hit by multiple COVID waves unless we get our vaccine strategy right, leading to the Environment Minister declaring that all of India will be vaccinated by the end of this year.
वैक्सीन स्ट्रेटजी के बारे में मैंने डायरेक्टली प्रधानमंत्री को बोला कि अगर हिंदुस्तान ने वैक्सीन स्ट्रेटजी नहीं ठीक लगाई, एक बार नहीं अनेक बार लोग मरेंगे, क्योंकि वायरस अडेप्ट करता रहेगा। मगर ये जो सेकंड वेव है, ये प्रधानमंत्री की जिम्मेदारी है। प्रधानमंत्री ने जो नौटंकी की, प्रधानमंत्री ने जो अपनी जिम्मेदारी पूरी नहीं की, इसका कारण सेकंड वेव है।
भारत का वैक्सीनेशन 2021 में ही दिसंबर के पहले पूरा होगा। राहुल जी, अगर वैक्सीन की चिंता ही करते हो तो जरा अपने कांग्रेस के राज्यों में ध्यान दो, वहां वैक्सीनेशन में गड़बड़ हो रही है। उनको जो 1 मई से कोटा दिया गया है, 18 से 45 उम्र के लोगों के लिए उत्पादकों से 25% उनके लिए रिजर्व है, वो तो ले नहीं रहे।
Delhi will begin unlocking gradually from Monday, said the Chief Minister, thanking the efforts of the people of the city to bring the second wave under control. But he emphasized the opening will be slow and can be shelved if cases start to rise again.
ये समय है अब धीरे-धीरे अनलॉकिंग करने का।
Delhi will begin reopening, but only to sectors, construction and factories.
Active cases have come down to 16,378 from a peak of 1,03,424 a month ago. The average daily cases are at 1,800, down from a peak of over 25,000 again a month ago. The average positivity rate is at 2.69%.
सोमवार को सुबह
The Chief Minister warned that the reopening will be stopped if cases rise again. 40-year-old construction worker Kundan Devi is hopeful that work will return for her and her children after the gradual reopening of the lockdown.
हो सकता है लॉकडाउन खुलेगा तो मजदूरी चलेगा तो बाल बच्चा काम करेगा, नहीं तो ऐसे जैसे चल रहा है वैसे चलते रहे। कमाना खाना तो यहाँ है, तो इसीलिए दिक्कत तो आ ही रहा है। जब काम ही नहीं होगा तो खाना कहाँ से होगा।
Meanwhile, the migrant workers have started returning to the national capital as well. The Delhi government is now preparing for a possible third wave.
The announcement of lockdown has provided certain respite, but there are a lot of issues that these people have been facing and struggling with the lockdowns, and that is why the government has said that to avoid any future waves and to avoid any rise in number of COVID cases, each and every person should contribute and follow COVID appropriate behavior so that the most downtrodden section of our society doesn't suffer more. With camera person Sushil Rathi, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
The Hyderabad police have booked cases of trespass and criminal assault against 16 people, including the sister of a 35-year-old COVID patient who died at a private hospital in the city after a group of his family members and friends entered the hospital and allegedly attacked the doctor who had treated him. The license of the hospital to treat COVID patients has now been revoked following a complaint by the family. Uma Sudhir has more.
So the license of Hyderabad-based Virinchi hospitals has been revoked to treat COVID patients. This follows a complaint by the family of a COVID patient who in fact died at the hospital on the 22nd of May. On Thursday, in fact, there is a lot of commotion and disturbance in the hospital when relatives of this particular patient came there and in fact attacked the doctor who had treated this particular patient, Vamsi Krishna, a 35-year-old who was in fact admitted to the hospital on the 9th of May. What the family is alleging is medical negligence. They are saying that the hospital had treated him with wrong medication, as the sister of Vamsi Krishna has put it, and she along with 15 others is alleged to have attacked the doctor who was treating her brother, and they also are said to have ransacked computers and some other furniture there. Cases were booked against them under trespass and criminal assault, and also under the law which prohibits any kind of violence or attack on medical persons like doctors or paramedical staff or hospitals. That's a law that Telangana had brought in 2008 following assaults on doctors and medical personnel at hospitals. So under IPC as well, under the Disaster Management Act, cases were booked and about 16 people were named in that particular FIR. But independently, the government has chosen to act on this particular hospital whose license in fact to treat COVID patients was revoked in the first COVID wave as well for on charges of in fact charging patients much more than what the prescribed rates of the government are. The government had come out with a chart which said what kind of rates can be charged, but the government also saying that they had as many as 88 complaints against 64 hospitals, and that show cause notices have been issued in all those cases as well. In this case, the patient's sister in fact has made very, very serious allegations of medical negligence. She says her brother was suffering from a moderate case of COVID-19 and that he had been given very strong steroids, and she believes wrong medication, and that of course may be subject to some kind of an investigation once she has alleged medical negligence. But as of now, show cause notice to the hospital, and they are supposed to reply to the Director of Public Health.
Welcome back. 6 people have been arrested by Bengaluru police for an alleged rape and assault of a young woman that was recorded on video and shared widely. 2 of the accused have been shot in the legs. Police say they tried to escape.
6 arrests of 4 men and 2 women made by the police in Bengaluru after a horrific video showing an assault on a young woman went viral. The search for those responsible went national, as it was initially not known where the video was filmed. Two of the accused were shot in the legs by police on Friday morning. Police say they tried to escape. The video caused widespread horror. Police say the accused and the victims of the assault were all from Bangladesh and that it was a case of human trafficking. They said the survivor of this assault was in a neighbouring state and was being asked to help with the investigation. Police as far away as Assam had tweeted out still images of 4 men and 1 woman from the video, promising a reward for anyone who helped locate those they said were brutally torturing and violating a young girl. It is believed that there are more people who are part of this gang and that they may be in Kerala. Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
In a deal that pits India's largest conglomerate against entrenched e-commerce players in India, the Tata Group has acquired a majority stake in the Alibaba-backed online grocery seller Big Basket. The deal comes as e-commerce sales, especially of food and groceries, have accelerated in India as the COVID pandemic spurred a big shift to online shopping. That's it on this bulletin. From the entire team, thanks for watching. Goodbye.